I can hear the bacon.
This is Sizzle, powered by Fit to Be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Broadcast Network studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, in the United States of America. You can find this program on deependbroadcasting.com and subscribe to this network's YouTube channel, Deep End Broadcasting. Now, here's your host of Sizzle, Karen Dougherty.
Such a rowdy crowd for such a calm day. I need some of their energy. How
We're
about
excited to be indoors on a cold day.
It is chilly here in Virginia Beach. It is chilly, really. And yesterday was so windy. It was supposed to be windy today, and it's not. But I saw a girl wearing a bikini on a boat on Sunday. It was either Saturday or Sunday, and it was almost 78 degrees. So today it's about 48. Little difference. You can feel it. But I still got some pep in my step. I actually like the cooler weather, to be honest. I just am better. I get sleepy and very tired in the summertime. The heat makes me lethargic. How about you? Oh my.
It's these damn blankets. You get cold, you put a blanket on top of you.
And then you sweat?
No, next thing you know, it's 2 hours later and
so you fall asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Well, maybe you need it. You've come down from a really long season. I mean, this is probably kind of a good reset for you. Winter's coming. You can rest.
I mean, it's much better than going into an office, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. In fact, I went to Richmond last week and I participated in a conference that was for accountants. And you'd think, why would Fit to Be Trained be at a conference for accountants? Well, because they sit at their desk all day. And it's really hard on a person's posture if you're sitting all day. And we talked about it last week, so I won't go into it again, but how posture can really cause lots of pain in your neck and shoulders and low back. And so I specialize in that kind of stuff. I like to help people get out of pain, all kinds of pain. But this week, it's just you and me again, pal. Yay! Woo! And we are super rowdy, especially Steve. I had to tell him to calm down. I was like, oh my God, dude, calm down. We're never going to be able to get this done if you don't quiet down. And I'm being sarcastic, so I'm going to try and pep him up. So, and a lot of the stuff you'll participate in, maybe that'll help. Okay, let's start. I typed into the computer, what are some questions that people are asking? What are they Googling? What's happening? Because then I like to use it on my blog or something like that, or social media post, obviously. What are they asking? And I said that you were, how old we were. And so it went, and I shouldn't have done that because it went in for the mature adults. What's the most important type of exercise for people over 50? Strength, cardio, or mobility? I say mobility, hands down.
Mobility.
You do too? Yeah. Cool. Because strength is a close second for sure. Strength, we've got to build our strength. And I feel like everybody picks strength first, but I don't. I'm mobility first and then strength. So, wow, cool. Okay, we agree on that one. Ooh, we could make it like a game show. Okay, that's a green one. Ding, ding. How do I stay motivated when my body doesn't bounce back like it used to? So I guess this question is saying, how do I, I'm sore, I'm stiff and sore the next day. Well, again, that's mobility. How do I stay motivated when my body doesn't I guess I would say self-care. Make sure you're going to have to let time for that. So self-care could be taking a break. People don't like to take breaks. It could be, a bath with Epsom salt or something like that. You're going to take care of yourself if you have a hard time with recovery. And then sometimes that means some rest that sometimes people don't want to do. Or maybe let's go the other way. So maybe this person is going, oh, I don't have a problem resting. You got to help me stay motivated. So maybe I even missed the question all the way, but how do I stay motivated? Oh, geez. So creating a reward for yourself. And rewards can be anything that floats your boat other than a Coach purse, unless you've got it like that. Like this actually is a Coach purse right here. I got it at the thrift store down the street. Wish I knew the name, I'd call it out. But anyway, it can't always be something expensive is what I'm saying. So, a tiny reward for yourself and do that. Or even if doing a check mark, helps me, that's a reward for me, being to cross something off my list. So think of stuff like that to keep you motivated. What about you? You think anything?
I mean, for me, I reward myself too much
Yeah.
for doing nothing.
But it doesn't have to be. No, I disagree with you. You're too hard on yourself. That's not true. You're thinking that no. You need to reward yourself with something that is other than, I don't know. This we'll come back to this later. Okay. Is it too late to start working out if I've never been consistent before? Well, that's a no-brainer. No, yeah, no-brainer. Of course not. Yeah. Okay, let's even keep going. Is it too late to start? Oh, sorry. I should have brought my little readers. What's the safest way to build strength without hurting myself? This is a good question. Very good question. Start slow. And I really feel like 50 years old is still pretty young. So that competitiveness is still in your heart and soul and whatever, quite possibly. And which is a good motivator, but it sometimes makes us go too fast and it sometimes makes us go too heavy, too fast. So you want to really start slow on stuff. And say we're not even talking about weight training. Say we're just talking about going for a walk with somebody. Don't try and make it for every day. You want to start slow and ease yourself into something. So physically, your body can take it, but mentally, you're not setting yourself up for failure, and you'll consistently feel better, which will motivate you to, and your body will build strength, and then you can do it more and more and more and more. And that's why when weight training, we always take a day in between, so your muscles have a moment to recover. And so that's why you really want to stay, slow and consistent. The turtle wins the race in this one. God, I've been using the word so much in my regular life. So it's got to stop. I'm sorry for that. How do I deal with
you? I mean, you and every other broadcaster in the world. So
I was really good about not doing filler words. Here's another one I like. Okay. I say that over and over again, and I really want to work on the ums and the okay. How do I do? And I just did it. I know. Forgive me. I know it. Hey, half the battle is knowing that you do it, right? Yeah. I won't do it. I won't do it. What are the best exercises for improving balance and preventing falls? These are good questions. Ankle mobility. Ankle mobility is everything about everything. That was a dumb answer. Ankle mobility is really good for if you are falling. What's going to save you? Because you're going to be flailing possibly a little bit, and you really need to have some mobility in those ankles so you can get some crafty footwork in and possibly save yourself. If your ankles are stiff, you're going down possibly. So that's why ankle mobility is a very big deal. In fact, now that I said that, unless you're driving your car, rotate your ankle. Just draw a circle with your big toe. I'm doing it right now. And then rotate the other direction. So, and then obviously flexing and pointing, but this simple movement can really save you from some hip ache, heartache. And so, ankle mobility. And then obviously, any kind of balance exercise would be, starting slow and working with a chair and starting with holding your leg out to the side for 5 seconds and, just build up. People often do their teeth or, brush their teeth. Do you ever do stuff like that? Like when I have things in the microwave, I do calf raises and stuff. Steve, do you do any kind of silly thing? Like people will brush their teeth.
Oh yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah, so that's a good way to build balance, just kind of incorporate it in your everyday life. And then obviously you're going to be helping with the ankle mobility, do calf raises, and that will help you for preventing falls and help your balance. How do I know if I'm pushing too hard or not hard enough? That's a really good question. Oh my. Okay. Obviously, too hard's easier to answer because you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your muscles. I think an unwritten rule, and maybe you'll agree with me, Steve, is that if you are feeling sore more than 2 or 3 days, that's not good. Like that happens when we do deadlift or stuff, like even still to this day.
Well, you'll always be a little sore, but then the next stage is hurt or then injured after that. So if
but
stuff's
don't
lingering,
you think 2 or 3 days? Yeah, like maybe 2's too, but 3 days, anything more than 3 days, you definitely overdid it. Like it doesn't mean you hurt yourself, but you hurt yourself mildly.
Well, use a shoulder, for example. Like
Yeah.
if your shoulder is really sore and it's kind of painful and after some workouts, and yeah, maybe you did tweak something, but it doesn't mean you should ignore it completely after that. That's when you need to kind of get maybe onto your bands or something like that and, do your minor calisthenics to try to work those small muscles to help heal that bigger muscle that might be inflamed.
Right. So wouldn't you think, like if it's sore, if you do shoulder press and the next day it's sore, normal. The day after that, normal. But then you're getting into 3rd day, 4th day. Back off on your weights if you're still sore.
Well, make sure you're doing proper warm-ups and stuff like that. As long as you're doing that, then you should prevent.
Well, they're just asking, how do you know? Like, how do you know if you're doing too much? So I would say your weight is just too heavy. Like, you're not even injured. You're right. Just if day 3 you're
anytime
still
you're
sore.
Sacrificing form for weight would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a really good
Once you
answer.
put your form into compromised, then you're probably doing too much.
Definitely. Great answer, because you're right. Yes. If your form is out, you're out. I'm a stickler for form. Great answer. There you go. How do you know if you're not doing enough? The way you can go too fast, maybe, you know, the rep is too fast. You want to be able to
Yeah,
be,
you're not concentrating or concentrated on it.
because you want your weight to, like, say you're doing, I think of bodybuilding, you know, you do 15, 12, 10, 8. So your 15th, you know, you want to start feeling that weight about 14. I'm sorry, not 14. For a 15 rep, about 12, 13, 14, 15. It's starting to get annoying. You know, it's not supposed to be kicking your butt. Then you go up. So then that, say we're doing 12 reps. So then about 8 or 9, that weight should be getting on your nerves. But like Steve said earlier, you're definitely not sacrificing form. You still have to be in good form. If you lose form prior to that, then you're out, I feel like. So then bodybuilding, then you go up in weight and then lower the reps. So that's how you know if you're not doing enough weight. If you're just, you know, not feeling any sort of challenge, you don't have to be in failure, but any sort of challenge.
Yeah,
by
you should
rep
at least
10.
try if you're doing a set of 10 of whatever, by the time you get to 7 or 8 on the rep, you should start to have some sort of a struggle at least.
Yeah, you're just
Now,
feeling
if you're kind of
like
just flying through the 10 and moving on and
up
you're
that
not getting
weight.
tired, then you're
Yeah.
not doing enough.
Okay, so let's go. Can I still do high intensity workouts like CrossFit or rugby? Yeah, you can do it as long as you want. I don't know why I guess because we always talk about CrossFit and you're a rugby coach. Because I just asked AI, I'm like, what are all the most popular questions? So yes, I would say anybody can do high intensity workouts as long as they want and as long as their body lets them. I think such a personal choice. So, what are the best exercises for improving balance? Oh, we just did that. I'm sorry. How do I know if I'm sorry. What's your advice for staying fit while traveling or during busy weeks? I better get my glasses. I'm sorry, you guys. So, what's your advice for staying fit while traveling or during busy weeks? Okay, so we're coming into the holiday season, and this is any fitness trainer will back me up on this. Here we go. This is when people are traveling and they're very, very busy. So sometimes they cancel their appointments with us. And this is the time you don't really want to cancel your appointments with us, because when you're busy, you need this time to regroup. Exercise is the most important thing that you can do for a busy schedule, for your body, your mind, everything, because it will give you a break to maybe not be thinking about, you know, some people's workload is going to be heavier. Some people, their personal life is going to get busier because of the holidays, running around, shopping, all that stuff. I do tend to say that exercise was invented when life got easier and we really weren't, you know, we've become less mobile. That's why we need that extra. So there is a little bit of truth to that. If you're really busy and you're running around and you're feeling great, then so be it. I really think it depends on your mental attitude at that point, because think of women that are going Christmas shopping and spending time with their children and having a great time, are getting steps in. So as long as you're feeling great and you're getting your steps in and you feel good, I don't think it should be like, oh no, you missed exercise. But if, because of the busyness, the time away from that regular everyday life and spending time with yourself or maybe your peers at the gym. In my case, I have friends that even if we don't talk to each other, just being in that space and seeing, you know, doing time for yourself makes you produce more than, I would say, because that's the kind of person I am.
I would say just make sure you have simple goals if you're traveling. Like, I mean, for example, you don't need much space or time just to do like 100 air squats if that's the workout, or or 5 sets of 15 or whatever the case.
Yeah, I like it. Isn't that true? 5 sets of 15 versus 100. 100 is like, oh my God, so many people would be like, that's not doable. But 5 sets of 15.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you get the 5 sets of 15, I mean, you can get the last 25 to get 100 after that on a burnout set.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I think people are underestimating how much they can
or,
do.
it don't have to be that. It can just be, sets of push-ups or sit-ups. But I would just say, knowing that if you're traveling and you are limited on time, still try to give yourself 15 to 20 minutes to try to do something to at least fill in the gaps on a day in which you might not do anything else otherwise.
Right.
At least you're able to just to do that. And that will actually kind of carry you through until the next day.
It's kind of like talking about this even does kind of make me excited because of the time of year it is. We just, we are, all of us somehow or another. I'm not going to be traveling. I'll be close to home this year, but it is a busy time of year and it's fun. Like we get to do lots of great things are coming, lots of parties. And for me personally, that does mean that I have to have my workouts in because I'll just be a better everything. Like I'll be more productive mentally. I'm happier when I'm exercising. And so me personally, but some people would be like, well, hey, listen, lady, I'm busy all day long and I'm getting my steps in and I'm running around. And I feel like as long as they're happy, then yay. But always this is the time of year that's an exciting, happy time of year, but don't forget to care for yourself. And I'm glad I said that because it does say here your personal stories, like how you feel. Oh, look at this. It says like how mobility saved your CrossFit game. Oh, I thought it meant like I went to the games. Like, my computer thinks I'm a CrossFit major athlete, but how it saved my CrossFit game, I will say, because I do mobility all the time, I still can participate in CrossFit. But we did snatch the other day and my weight was like, oh my God, it's so light. I think, I don't know, 55, if that, because we didn't do 1 rep max, but I mean, I just don't get really heavy on my lifts anymore, but I actually love the snatch. I love how it feels on my shoulders, but I just have to watch my weight. And because it's an overhead lift, my mobility is everything. Oh my God, everything. Well, I guess I'll move on to the next question. How do hormones affect fitness and recovery after 50? Oh, I just want to skip this. And anyway, I wouldn't know how to answer it anyway. And what can we do about it? I'm not a hormone specialist. I'm so sick of hormones. Oh my God. Everything's about hormones right now, at least my feed, because I'm a fitness person. They send me everything about hormones and menopause. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. Maybe I have to go offline for a little while or start searching different search things because the algorithm just sends me the same crap. It's so boring. What's the deal with protein? How much do we really need at this age? This is a really good question. And the jury's out on that for me because scientifically, as a rule, they want us to eat 1 gram of protein for how much your body weight is. So I'm 128 right now, so I'm supposed to eat 128 grams of protein. That's a lot, and it's it's taken me a long time in life to be able to balance that out and actually get it. And I can't do it without supplements. Like I have to have protein shakes or I just can't get it in my meals. I wish I could, and I do once in a while get to do that, but it's not very often. And I have a pretty good, I eat really well, but I eat 3-4 eggs in the morning. Um it's just hard for me to do it without a supplement. So I also want to say that I don't know where I read it, but I did read that it's not necessarily how much your body weight is. Like, say there's a desired weight or so say you're 150 pounds, which by the way is a really good weight. A lot of women are 150 pounds. So that's a lot of protein to eat. And she's not overweight. But if she's trying to gain muscle, she's got to eat 150. Now, I heard that if you go by like your skeleton and your actual muscle mass rather than like all the organs and the fluids and all that. Like this is really getting technical, but it gave you a break though. It let you lower how much protein you really needed. So I kind of went with that. I was like, good, because like 150 grams of protein is a lot and it's hard to get in. And it's almost like something an athlete would do, not like a regular woman. So that's why, and remember, whenever you're hiring someone, you're hiring a fitness trainer or you're hiring even a doctor, you're paying for their opinion. So know that, and you're paying for an educated opinion. But so know that, like, this is only my opinion. I'm not saying it's law. So I'm kind of bucking the system too, because I'm like, it's just too much. It's not for the regular everyday woman. I want to kind of buck the system and go, that's a lot. And I'd rather go with this, how much muscle. There's even girls that say a girl's 180 pounds and she wants to be 150. Then maybe she, is she supposed to eat 180 grams of protein until she's 150? No, everybody knows that would not be the truth. So we got to reel this in a little bit. And maybe I'll circle back later and do more research to, like, I remember reading that and I kind of just held on to it because I was like, yeah, sweet. We only have to do so for me, I'm 28 pounds. So I try and eat, and I'm pretty petite. So I try and eat 125 grams of protein. I personally do because I am trying to build muscle. I'm not just trying to maintain. So I do kind of have to try and adhere to that. I do it with a shake and I do it with foods. And sometimes if I only get 100 grams in, I'm not really that sad. Put it that way. A lot of times I feel overly full when I eat too much protein. And I sometimes feel better when I don't eat 125 grams of protein. I'm just going to admit it. And I haven't measured my muscle mass lately, so I don't know, because I've been tracking my food, not strict wise, but just kind of, I always do when Halloween, like through the holidays, to just see what I'm doing and to try and keep it reeled in. Like if I get my fat gets really high or I eat too many sweets, because we know this is the time of year when it just gives you some control, but I'm not like obsessive about it. I need people to know that. But I do feel better and I'm a little bit leaner right now. I kind of like how I look right now. And I haven't been quite making that 125 grams of protein. So I hope I haven't lost muscle mass, but I don't mind what I look like. So you really got to kind of make your own personal decisions when you're in here, and don't just go and when I say in here, I mean in your own head of trying to figure out what's right for you and what's right for your girlfriend or your friends at the gym. Everybody's going to be different, and if you're not going to a gym and you're just comparing to, just make sure you're really, you're being realistic with what you're trying to achieve. And that would be something you would talk to with a trainer, like if you're not really trying to build muscle, do you need all that? Sorry, I didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole with that, but protein is something that I get asked about a lot. Is stretching before workout still a thing, or should we be doing something else? Um, oh, I guess again, my opinion. I usually try and do something cardiovascular, like high, like go for a run. And when I go to the CrossFit, we always run, bike, or row for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we do some mobility movements. So I would say yes, especially if you're lifting weights.
I like to personally. I like to when we had the old gym, and basically take the first 10 to 12 minutes. And granted, half the time people would just sit there and talk to each other, not do anything. But take the 10 to 12 minutes to do what you need to do to stretch out.
Oh,
which is off the, which
yeah, so
might not
you're
be like the
saying,
norm.
yeah, so you're saying yes. You think we should still be stretching.
Now I get
prior.
it. The coaches put it into the hands of the class to do something during class time without them having to really tell them what to do. Like Lou would have the list of like 10 or 12 things like recommended that you could be doing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that.
And you would just kind of work down that list, and then whatever else you may need.
And we were all moving.
I for
Don't
one
say
always
we were just laying there.
I for one always needed something to like to I always needed a little extra focus here or there, or like my quads would need extra stretching, like the old school football stretch or whatever.
Oh, are you saying that you like having a written, because the gym that I go to, we run, row, bike for 2 or 3 minutes, and then there is a written mobility workout that we all do 2 or 3 rounds of.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. Yes. I remember what you're talking, and I think everybody kind of warmed up, and they usually kind of, I feel like in the past too, some of a warm up too could be where you're doing the moves without weight or with very lightweight, and then just kind of work your way up, So I think the answer is yes. I think stretching is still very much a thing.
I think you need a few minutes of concentrated, whatever you think you need to do yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've all got our stuff, hamstrings, or I've been really working on my core though. Really, okay. And you think working on your core, Karen, you're a Pilates trainer, but pull your tummy in again, pull it in again. Like I've been really trying to pull my stomach in and strengthen that. Something that I'm really bad at is hollow rocks. And that's a lot of core and tucking that tailbone under. And even though I'm a Pilates trainer, I'm not that good at it. It must be a mechanical issue, because I feel like I've always struggled with them all the way back when what you were talking about back in Valiant. Like that was a long time ago now. And one of the guys would tease me. He'd be like, God, you're terrible at those. You're a Pilates trainer. What the hell is wrong with you? And I was like, I know, right? So lately, I've been really trying to work on using these upper abs. I think it's a key. I think they go dormant, like we really use our lower abs, and it's easy to pull your belly button in, but to really get those upper abs takes a little bit more effort than we're used to. And so we don't. How do I modify workouts when I'm dealing with chronic pain or past injuries? Oh, I feel sorry for anybody that's dealing with chronic pain. Um, yeah. How do I modify workouts? Well, obviously you're going to be dealing with a professional with your chronic pain. So obviously listen to whatever your physical therapist says. And whenever I get hooked up with clients that are coming out of physical therapy, or I usually go to the therapist and say, what am I not allowed to do? Find out your restrictions. There's usually a lot less restriction than there is what you can do, right? So you do what feels right. You don't do things that create pain. You're allowed to be uncomfortable during exercise, but you're not supposed to have pain. And if you're coming out of an injury, I'm the girl that really babies stuff. I've had so many injuries, not so many, like considering who I am. I've had the important ones, so I know what they feel like. The knee, I had an ACL injury. I have had the shoulder rotator cuff. I've never had to have surgery on any of them. So I've always physical therapied out of everything so far. Thank God. I'm so lucky. So I really say take your time when you're coming out of an injury, because the turtle wins. The consistent, the slow, the lightweight, doing your mobility exercises, that usually is high reps, low weight when you're coming out of any kind of injury, and you just want to take it. So the body, then you're eating and you're trying to heal. So you just really want to treat that body like the machine that it is. I think people underestimate how the body really is. It's a machine. It needs water. The more water you give it, it lubricates it. It makes it a better running machine. You want to have structural right, your skeleton right, because you would certainly freak out if your car frame was bent. So you want your structure right. You want to eat, you want to fuel it good. So, the same thing with when you're trying to come out of a repair, like you are a machine, where you're coming out of an injury. You really want to take it slow so you don't mess it up. And modify, like this question asks, how do I, well, you find it, you get yourself a professional, and maybe hire a trainer for one session if money's an issue, and just get them to show you the right form and what you need to do, and then do your stuff. How do I balance fitness with a demanding work or family schedule? Make appointments. That's what everybody always says. And I'm like, oh God, that doesn't work with me. So I guess that really is the answer. Make appointments, because even though I hate the sound of it, it sounds so silly, but you really do have to make an appointment with yourself, I guess. There I go with those. Maybe I just get it out of my system. Okay. Oh my goodness. But I feel like I can't stop now. Like I'm just on a roll. You just got to make a priority when you have a busy schedule and a demanding family. You just have to. I get up earlier, go to bed later. I choose earlier. You just got to figure it out. Figure out a time. Like, to say there's no time is just not an acceptable answer. It's a dumb one. We all have the same amount of time in a day. Everybody gets 24 hours. It's just a choice. It's whether you want it or you don't. And it's not that you don't have time. You just got to figure it out, because I'm trying to sell things, and you've got to reach out to 5 people a day. And I always hear myself say, I don't have time. And I do have the time. I just got to figure it out. And I haven't figured it out yet. So that's what it is. I just have to figure it out. And don't say I don't have the time. It's annoying, because you do. Everybody has what they need, on this subject. I'm not saying about everything, but the excuse thing of I don't have time, then you just have to figure it out. Are supplements worth it, or can I get, oh wow, it's getting me. These questions are supplements worth it, or can I get everything I need from food? Yes, absolutely. You can get everything from food. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't need a supplement. You have to figure out what the supplements are, or I'm sorry, how to cook properly to get everything that you need in your food. And that takes research and that takes time. But it's definitely doable. I would say my friend Sherry, she could do it. She could eat all her food. The girl that comes on our podcast once in a while she did blood type. I bet you she can. She knows how to cook. You just have to do the research and figure out how to do it. But you definitely do not need supplements unless you're like me and I just don't know how to cook like that. I wish I could say I wish I did, but I guess I don't, because when I'm taking my time to study, I'm studying other things. So, but the science doesn't change. Just because I can't cook enough of those nutrients into me, then I need to take the supplements. So that's what they're for. That's why they're called supplements. They're supplemental. So figure out what you're lacking and maybe find a good supplement if that's what's happening that's what they were invented for, to make things easier. How do I stay consistent when motivation dips or life gets chaotic? I thought we just that was on the first 10, but maybe I'm wrong. How do I stay consistent? Um I'm getting to be repetitive in my answers. Figure it out. I sound so coachy, don't I? I'm like, figure it out. I'm sick of these insults. Like, I'm sick of these excuses. I didn't mean to say insults. Yeah, it's funny. As coaches, we do get to that point when they start asking too many questions, don't we? Figure it out. You're going to have to figure it out. But how do I stay consistent when motivation dips? I think back to the reward thing. If that works for you, hey, off subject. I mean, they've proven with kids, if you reward them with money, like figure out monetary bribery, that's what it was. Bribery works for child rearing. So for some kids it's money, for some kids it's something else, some other reward, but it works. So you reward yourself.
Get a dry erase board and give yourself a check mark for today.
I'm into that kind of stuff, like putting something off my list.
Get the gold star for today. The gold star list, like in elementary school.
If that works.
As simple as that.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a treat, like a cup of tea. It just can't be an ice cream cone every time or something like that. But it can once a week be that, you really like figure it out. Sorry, I'm going to move on to the next one just because of time. I looked at the clock and it was 1:11. So I've only got 1 minute and 11 seconds left. But what's your advice for someone who feels intimidated? Oh, this is a good one. Intimidated walking into a gym or class. My business was literally called Homebody Fitness in Minnesota. And one of my girlfriends is here visiting. And she said to me yesterday, why did you ever change the name? And I said, I know. I mean, Homebody Fitness was such a great name for a business because it was about 20 years ago, and there was a lot of homebodies in Minnesota because it was cold. And I was young and I was in my 20s, longer than that. And I was intimidated to go to the gym. And here I was, a fitness girl that was intimidated to go to the gym. And I thought, how do people that aren't in fitness and maybe aren't in good shape not feel intimidated going to the gym? So I started going to them.
Tell yourself this. They don't care.
Yeah, but when they're
too
young,
busy. They're too busy caring about themselves.
But when you're young, they do, especially when you're a girl. Especially when you're a girl. And I'm glad you're saying that because maybe it's true for the guys. They really are going to the gym and don't care and just want to bang out their reps, don't they? And now that I look back and think of knowing men in the industry and my peers and all that, that's true. They really probably don't care, but the girls do. Your outfit, how you feel in your outfit, what is your makeup, or are you not going to wear makeup? Yeah, like, oh my goodness, because really you don't want to wear makeup to the gym because your face sweats and guys know their face sweats, so does ours, and it clogs your pores, but I don't feel confident without it. It's kind of a big deal. It's a big, big, big deal. Then you're like, I heard, we just talked about this morning too with one of my clients. And then you're intimidated because you're like, I don't know how to work that machine. I don't want to look stupid. And here I was, a fitness girl, and I did know how to work all the machines. I did know how to do everything. And I was even intimidated because what would happen is that everything would just be there and you'd be like, I don't know where to start. And how do you get over that? I would say doing it over and over again. If you can't hire a trainer, if you can hire a trainer, even just once. And most of the time, if you join a gym, they give you like a free training pack. Most of the time, at least they used to. And I really feel like they still do. Like at One Life, you get like one free training session because they want you to feel comfortable there. So you'll come back. So I think so. Utilize that session. Don't be like, oh no, I don't need to do that, or I don't want to do it. Do it. I would even do it if I was like very knowledgeable. I'd still want that lesson because every piece of equipment is different. And plus I like talking to, meeting new people in the gym. So you want to take that lesson and then and start to practice. Maybe get a buddy, get a gym buddy. That always helps. Gym buddies are the best. They help with motivation. And if you don't have any friends and you don't want to hire a trainer, then get online and make yourself a plan. Now we have AI, for God's sake. All you got to do is like type in, and I'm not telling all y'all to go just, put us trainers out of business, but at least you have a plan if you can't afford a trainer. But you always want a trainer if you can afford it, just for your form, just for 2-3 times, even then. And then you can go scampering off to the gym wilderness yourself and then practice. And then you'll get over that intimidation. You'll stop. But that was 20 questions. If I did them all, I'm pretty sure I did them all. I bumbled around a little bit here and there, but I was just curious what people were asking Google. And that was kind of interesting.
There you go,
yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. It got me once in a while where I was like, what do I say? Oh, that's a very good question. So yeah, that's interesting. And I'll look it over some more because this is the kind of stuff that I'll make posts about. I'll put it in my social media, or I'll put it, something really interesting, a blog or an email. So if you ever want to get on my email list, that is fittobetrained.com, and then you can just sign up there. And it's Fit to Be Trained Online. I always forget that I have two websites, fittobetrainedonline.com and fittobetrained.com. And the one is more of a local, where they're doing my Pilates stuff. So Fit to Be Trained Online to my podcast audience is way, way, way more efficient for you guys, because then it has everything. If I say one more time, but I want everybody to have a fantastic week as we sail into the holiday season. We're just moving right along. In fact, we have our Friendsgiving. I have my first Friendsgiving this Saturday with the gym.
Oh.
And so that's another reason to join a gym, is because there's always not always, but often you make friends in there and they're positive.
Where are they doing that at?
Lynn Haven Pub.
They like that bar, I've noticed.
That's a great bar, and it's right there. You can't go and you can't get any closer.
I'm sure the bar likes it that they have.
Right. I'm sure they do too. And that's a cool little bar. I like that little bar. And the food is actually, it's bar food. It's not like they've got a huge menu.
I've got a good topic for the next time you don't have a guest.
Oh, what is it?
We should talk about the mental health.
Oh.
And it's good for the season as well.
I agree.
Because I'm in the world where I think that everyone talks about mental health, wants to do good things about mental health. Everyone says that, you should always go check on your bro, always go check on this person. Everyone always says that thing, but nobody actually ever does it. How about that?
I'd love to talk about that. I'll purposely not have a guest. Or have a guest that wants to talk about that, because there are people that want it. That's a great subject. And I don't want to bring it back to myself, but oh boy, have I dealt with mental health issues in these last 60 years, or I'm not 60 yet, 59, but oh my goodness, up and down and all around, and addiction and depression and all that.
Well, I think you just
stuff.
Summed it up. I think mental health wise, the best thing to know right off the bat is you need to be mentally strong, or try to be.
Yeah. Or forget help.
Because
reach out.
The people who say that they're out there to help you aren't necessarily out there to help you.
Yeah. Reach out.
You're going to have to do things on your own.
You are worth it. Reach out. That is a big thing. And mental health awareness month, I believe, is this month.
Oh, well, all right. That'll be a good time. With the holidays and all that.
And you're right with the holidays, because people do get, yes, it's not all joy to the world for everyone, is it? And there have been years that it hasn't been for me. This year is good for me. I don't even have to look too far back where, oh my goodness. Yes. Oh God, depression. That's a tough one. My heart goes out to people that deal with it as a medical condition, and because I've had it during my life, and it forces you to be compassionate to those that struggle. But the key is to reach out. I was able to know, because I've had addiction. So I've always been in therapy since I was young. I knew I was an addict, or my parents did. And it started out that way. And so because when you're introduced to therapy for something, you realize how good it is. And I use it through my life, whether it's group therapy, one-on-one. You have to reach out. Don't go down that rabbit hole or that dark place and not ask for help. But like you said, that deserves its own time. And I enjoy talking about it, even though it brings up old hard times, but it makes me, like, this year I'm really joyful. And those of you that known me have seen me in other states of mind. So when you always remember that it's it ebbs and flows. Life ebbs and flows, or like I think it's Buddhism or Taoism, where they compare life to the crow. And when a storm comes in, the crow just hangs on.
Ooh.
Just hangs on, knowing that that storm's going to end. So it's got to endure, and it's got to do it, but it knows it's going to end, so it makes it. So kind of think like that when storms in life. I think that's what that was about. It was this, I read it somewhere and I was like, God, that's true. The crow. So with that,
Another subject for another time.
yes, with that. And then we play nice, cheery, happy. Well, because life is like that, isn't it? Like cheery, happy, and then the crow.
All right, Sizzle, good job.
Thank you. You too.
We'll
Thanks
see you
for
next week.
Yeah. The crow. I'm gonna have to get you some more water.